Yeah.
We started this week. No. Why? The heck am I? Would you mind doing? Everyone. I'm gonna do.
Some station in that class.
It's just that- the backyard.
Wow, you're good tan.
Eric, just, I was the 30-year anniversary. Is there a statement, have you read?
No.
It's just. I just walked. All swings to the back of the office.
That's great. What was this, yesterday?
Today.
Oh, it says, oh, yeah. How are you? How are you? Hey, Nancy. Yeah. Did you try to change your phone? Look, guys. The coffee cup there.
Yeah, that's me, yeah. Thanks.
No problem.
Yeah, it was from that meeting.
Yeah, I had somebody, I did send you an email about the film ready. They want to meet with us.
Okay, I saw it, but I didn't read it.
Yeah, I didn't know like if we should. That's okay. I think you should definitely be the meeting. It's still done. What it entails in that. Not being film ready.
Pretty boy.
Pretty good. What is that name from? Is that from Carmela?
Maybe.
He's got a good story about it.
Oh, okay.
Well, not in here, it's awful.
Not gonna get my.
There's definitely. That's about it, you just.
Yeah, how's it? Good, good, hanging in there. I got it, yes, thank you. No, I don't know, well, I ran a seltzer and I don't know if I will do that one. So there. No. To the angle.
Yeah. Councilman Nowicki, you want to mention the dam safety things?
Yeah, I was talking about six.
So I have a few other things.
Yeah, have anything else or still be talking about that?
No.
We haven't gotten that. Oh, right. This week. Yeah.
Maybe next week. I think in time for the next meeting. Actually, we may get them the date, same day. 19. We will have it in time.
What's that?
No, I don't think so. I will go out. 30-year station.
Just you?
No, I think we get off. Oh, is that?
I do. You got a fancy thought.
I don't know, Eric was slow that.
Yeah.
You.
Is he what? Well, I know what it is, but I'm like, why is it not working? I know, it's not.
What else? Kitchen. That's two floors. Well.
Love that. Yes, actually, no, 31. G is 30 and Michelle's 30.
There's this show.
Green couple, we tried with, there's like technical that, broke it into two, three elements. Everybody did like, oh.
Got it.
Say.
I'm just gonna print it out at this point.
Yeah, no, definitely.
I could not admission that, listen to the calls. Mitch looks like a city. Mitchell, I think you're enjoying this too much. You're enjoying this too much.
Like doing hands on or just.
Ready to join the present? Perfect time.
Again, Erica.
Yeah. TJ?
Yes.
You turn that light, have the flashlight on in the back. Yeah. Glare.
Your face is kind of flat.
Is it really doing anything? Cause it's really.
It's improving.
Oh, it's horrible.
We're gonna put sunglasses on. Just hit
It's right,
hit the flashlight.
yeah,
There you go.
thank you. It's not gonna make them. That's not gonna light up the room.
Hey, Matt,
No, he had no
with
idea.
the
Thank you.
30-year anniversary, can you take some pictures?
I'll move the podium out of the way. You guys will.
Yeah. Okay, then we're gonna start again. Ready? Call this meeting to order. Please stand for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We.
Yeah, he'll be back.
Well, we can all go home.
Yeah.
There we go. Thank you, Erica.
Thank you.
And we are ready for roll call, Erica. Open public meetings.
Okay, I wish to announce the 48-hour notice is required under the Open Public Meetings Act. Was emailed to the Asbury Park Press, the Coast Star, and the New Coaster on December the 18th of 2025. That a copy has been placed on the bulletin board in the borough office and that a copy has been filed with the municipal clerk. Please be advised, public attendance for meetings through Zoom is not mandatory and a courtesy only. If for any reason Zoom fails or is disconnected, the in-person meeting will continue without interruption. And action can and will be taken, providing that there is an in-person council quorum. Mr. Noble?
Here,
Ms. Greenblatt?
here.
Mr. Carr?
Here.
Mr. Nowicki?
Here.
Mayor Gubatose?
Here. Welcome, everybody. We've got a nice turnout tonight, and I know why. We have some very important presentations that we're gonna make in a minute. Welcome also to folks joining us on Zoom. Beautiful summer feeling day finally, and I think we are all ready to roll. So we took the liberty of changing the order of our agenda this evening. The big part of the agenda is gonna be a workshop where we're gonna talk a little bit about the 2026 budget. But before that, we want to move right into some very important presentations. And the council is going to come down to the floor because we want to recognize 3 Bradley Beach employees who have loyally, faithfully, dedicatedly served this borough for 30 years and beyond. And you'll hear a little bit more about that in 1 minute. So guys, you want to join me down? Yes. Erica, doesn't matter where I start.
That's not Gina.
Okay, I'll just start with the hair. So we're gonna start with someone that many of you may not recognize, Morris Strahy. We know him as JR.
Very careful, that thing will break.
Oh my God.
Okay.
Stop. Wait, turn around. Folks may not realize this. This is basically meant to be 30-year acknowledgement of anniversaries. This guy's into 31, right? So JR, the folks tonight, you've exceeded 30, and all I can tell you is I've been with the borough as a council person mayor, 6 years, a little over 6 years. In those 6 years, I have seen, so much more than the average resident would see in terms of what our borough employees do to contribute to every aspect of our everyday life. A lot of you guys see, our DPW folks maybe a little bit more because they're out on the streets, they're working out at parks and recycling and all that. JR is a true leader among that wonderful group. So I know we've got a number of his colleagues here in the audience tonight to wish you well, but most importantly, coming from me and from this council, the work you do for this borough and the fact that you've been doing it for 31 years is just amazing and really greatly appreciated. So I wanted to know everybody that a little hopefully don't appreciate it. Thanks. I gotta thank Steve for putting up with me so long. So I will read this to you, JR, but it says, Morris Trevino Jr. In grateful recognition of over 30 years of unwavering loyal service to Bradley Beach and our residents. Your dedication, steadfast commitment, and ongoing contributions to our borough have strengthened our community and will leave a lasting and meaningful legacy for all. Thank you. Thank
Should probably want to take a picture of you holding it, so why don't we do that, Judith, then I'll put it in the box for you, okay?
you. Do you want to make that?
Okay, sure.
This is meeting.
I thought you had a 10-minute speech.
Everybody in?
I blocked this.
That's perfectly fine. Here. Good night there. What's that?
Okay.
DPW role, like our director of DPW, the other is a flat. We're going to find some way to get the usher to come to a council meeting. And this is how we do it. G. I'll let you open the flash, but while you do that. Diageo, I mean, again, I've known him first as a resident, obviously the last 5-6 years, mayor, council, this guy probably more than any single person in the borough, makes the council, makes the mayor look good. I mean, everything he and his people do are very visible to our public. And we, you know, it's normal in the municipality to have individuals in the greater public criticize something about the borough. I don't know how they always find things to criticize me personally about it. But the one person I truly believe that never is criticized is the man standing to my right. Because everything he does is focused on Bradley Beach, how to make Bradley Beach better, how to make the mayor and council look better, and maybe most importantly, how to deliver excellent, top-notch service to our residents. So G, I might personally, thank you so much for what you do for that. 30 years. The G use the music. We got a flag. All right, let me find my glasses. The Diageo. This is in grateful recognition of over 30 years of unwavering loyal service to Bradley Beach and our residents. Your dedication, steadfast commitment, and ongoing contributions to our borough have strengthened our community and will leave a lasting and meaningful legacy for all. Thank you. And could not be more.
want to say one thing about JR. It's actually 35 years of service.
Wow.
Really? He was 4 years of seasonal, part-time employment, so he's been here a lot longer than all of us. Wow. Jay, you got a fact? Do we get, children and wife?
My other son is, he's got stuck at the train, he's coming, he's here. Get him in here, Justin.
We're gonna do a picture box.
Slow guys.
Let's give just last night the irrigation.
Just long enough on the budget.
This gives you more time to speak. Come on, like, all good people.
You understand about what time to prepare.
He made it.
Just, we were all waiting.
Yeah. Get all in the middle.
Oh, that's you.
You see the looks, they have to come over, that's for sure. God bless them, mother. Great. I like to say this one thing. It's 30 years of service and I appreciate this award, but the residents of the borough allowed me to stay here for as long as I, have been here. And they put my kids through college and I couldn't be more thankful.
Where is the?
We're done.
Somebody's hiding.
Next
slide.
Now who's manning the
Next
front? Michelle Wiley. Another 30 years, is it this month? It's last month. Okay, as of April, 30 years for Michelle Wiley. Many of you knew Michelle, back in the day when she manned the front office, the window there. Finally, many years later, you were allowed to hide in a really luxurious suite. Yeah, after about 20 years. So now she's got a suite that looks way better than the mayor's office. And when I first came in as mayor, I said, hey, this is a nice looking office. And Michelle's like, get out. So anyway, well deserved, well earned, the trappings that you have now. Most importantly, while I mentioned our DPW brethren are, just killing it out in the world, you keep everything moving at home, right here in the home office. And when I've I've known Michelle for a number of years, probably even before I was on council, at least I met you and my wife were friends. But again, it's a learning experience being on council, being the mayor. It's a learning experience as to how much people do. And in a small town like Bradley, where we have 5 or so employees in our main office, they all wear multiple hats. So Michelle's doing weddings and licensing and you just yesterday she was explaining how the gazebo works and how how people fund it and blah blah blah. And what amazes me is no matter what question I have for Michelle, she can answer. If she doesn't answer it immediately, she answers it within 15-20 minutes. So the woman is a true answer person to everything we do in Bradley. And again, the average resident might not fully appreciate the roles that these employees play. But trust me, and I think the council would attest, without these individuals, I've said to my wife, I don't need to be here because these guys run the town. I just come in, give a little direction. Usually they tell me a better way to do it anyway. But these employees run this borough and they run it beautifully. So Michelle, you're the kingpin behind home office, so
Thank you.
congratulations. And let us give you a plaque. You can pull that out. Once again, hold on. I need these plaques, unfortunately. Michelle Wiley. In grateful recognition of over 30 years of unwavering loyal service to Bradley Beach and our residents, your dedication, steadfast commitment, and ongoing contributions to our borough have strengthened our community and will leave a lasting and meaningful legacy for us all. Thank you.
Michelle, from the staff, just a little.
Oh, my God.
You lost, their arm. Let me get one picture.
We're buying flowers.
Well, after this. All right, family. My family.
Take a picture.
See?
Get in there. I could tell.
Excellent.
Okay, can we get the audio, JR and Michelle stay? Okay, for a picture of this.
Make sure you take that box.
Wow.
Okay. Okay, you want me to put it in? Be very careful, that because a little does break. Bring it in.
Yeah, all three. I thought it was great, I think this might be a good job to do all three together.
Okay, we use on this side. Oh, yeah.
Great.
Okay. Wait, hold on, he's gotta leave first. Perfect.
The speech with Michelle, yeah.
Thank Here, make sure.
Oh, yeah.
And we got work to do.
Okay, that was a lot of fun to get those folks up here and just give them a quick, 1 minute recognition for 30+ years of service. But so many people just don't fully appreciate the contributions these individuals make. And I think having this little ceremony, I want to thank our clerks for helping us pull together the plaques themselves, Mr. Doherty for helping us organize this event. And we really need to do a very good job continuing to recognize employees and the contributions they're making to the borough. Okay, so that said, let's get to what really is the most important element of our meeting today, and that is the 2026 budget introduction. Oh, I'm sorry. We have 2 more presentations to make. Well, thank you so much. One is a proclamation because it is also Public Works Week. And I'll turn to Councilwoman Greenblatt.
Thank you, Mayor. This is National Public Works Week. So whereas public works services provided in our community are an integral part of our citizens' everyday lives, and whereas the supportive and understanding and informed public is vital to the efficient operation of public works systems and programs, including water, sewer, streets, public buildings, solid waste collection, landfill, wastewater disposal, code enforcement, and engineering to provide essential services to our citizens. Whereas the health, safety, and comfort of this community greatly depends on these facilities and services, and whereas the quality and effectiveness of these facilities, as well as their planning, design, and construction, is vitally dependent upon the efforts and skills of public works officials. And whereas the efficiency of the qualified and dedicated personnel who staff the public works departments is materially influenced by the people's attitude and understanding the importance of the work they perform. Now therefore be it resolved, the governing body of the Borough of Bradley Beach do hereby proclaim the week of May 18th to the 25th, 24th, 2026 as Public Works Week, building for today, planning for tomorrow. In the Borough of Bradley Beach, and call upon all citizens and civic organizations to acquaint themselves with the issues involved in providing our public works and to recognize the contributions which public works officials make every day to our health, safety, comfort, and quality of life. Thank you.
Thank you. Now I'll turn to Council President DeNoble to read another proclamation focused in particular on the woman sitting down to my immediate left.
It is the 5th the 57th Annual Professional Municipal Clerks Week. Whereas the Office of the Professional Municipal Clerk, a time-honored and vital part of local government, exists throughout the world, and the Office of the Professional Municipal Clerk is the oldest among public servants. Not Erica, though. She's our youngest. The Office of the Professional Municipal Clerk provides the professional link between the citizens, the local governing bodies, and agencies of government at other levels. And whereas professional municipal clerks have pledged to be ever mindful of their neutrality and impartiality, rendering equal service to all. And whereas the professional municipal clerk serves as the information center and functions of local government and community. And whereas the professional municipal clerks continually strive to improve the administration of the affairs of the Office of the Professional Municipal Clerk through participation in education programs, seminars, workshops, and the annual meetings of their state, provincial, county, and international professional organizations. It is most appropriate that we recognize the accomplishments of the Office of the Professional Municipal Clerk. Now, therefore, be it resolved, governing body of the Borough of Bradley Beach do recognize the week of May 3rd through the 9th, 2026 as Professional Municipal Clerks Week, and further extend appreciation to all professional municipal clerks for their vital services that they perform and their dedication to the communities that they represent. Dated this 5th day of May, 2026. And Michelle.
That's right, and Michelle, our deputy clerk.
Yes.
All right, now we will move to item 6 on the agenda, which is our 2026 budget introduction workshop. Everyone who joined us, thank you so much.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Perfect
Thank
time
you.
to want to stay.
Happy Mother's Day, by the way.
All right, so our CFO, Mr. Mitch Syme, has been introduced to the public before, but for those of you who are not aware, Mr. Syme joined us a couple months ago, 3 months ago, Mitch, roughly.
Feels like it, but it's only been about 7 weeks.
Okay, almost 2. Nonetheless, you are here tonight to help us introduce our 2026 budget, and I'm going to turn the floor over to you.
Thank you.
Lead the workshop.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for coming tonight. This will be the introduction of the budget. We'll be adopting the budget on the 5th of June. So, if you want to, if you have any questions in the interim, there's going to be a slide with my email address on it at the end of the presentation. And you guys can email me any questions you have. I'll do my best to respond. And wait on the slideshow.
And is Michelle aware because?
Yeah.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Okay.
She's clicking around. She got a little award she's called.
And Mitch, before you start, let me mention something also to the public. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight, as we introduce the budget, Mr. Syme's going to provide an overview of some, broad overview of key issues in developing the budget. We're not going to speak specifically about detailed line items in the budget tonight, but after tonight's presentation, whether it be later this evening or early tomorrow, about 100-page budget document will be posted to our website. The public will have 30 days to review that. As Mr. Syme said, you can ask him questions over these 30 days. 30 days from today, on June 5th, we will have a budget adoption meeting and a public hearing. And that can go as long as we all need it to go to make sure that we, the council, address any concerns, questions you have. But for tonight, this is really meant to be an overview, give everyone a sense of how we got to where we are, give you a kind of a bottom line on top overview, and then a lot of detail to follow. Like I said, 100-page document tomorrow.
Thank you very much. Next slide, Michelle. All right, so this just is an overview of where your taxes go. You get your tax bill, and here's kind of the breakdown. 34% of your taxes go to the schools, 26% to the county, 4% to the local library here in town, and 39% of your taxes go for the municipal budget. And we'll be speaking to the municipal portion. I'm sure you all understand this is well-informed audience that's always here, that the only portion of the taxes that we control, that the mayor and council controls, is the municipal tax portion, and that's what we're speaking about today. Go ahead, Michelle. So this just kind of goes over what the local taxes are for, our infrastructure and roadways, police, our public works, our waste and recycling removal, engineering, our courts, tax collection, the registrar for marriage licenses and certificates and all sorts of needs like that, zoning, code enforcement, and I mentioned recycling before. Also, there's quality of life issues that we take care of here in town. We have our borough parks, we have our excellent recreation programs. We maintain our playing fields and playgrounds and facilities. We have the Council for the Arts here that we fund through our municipal budget. We have a number of community events. We have the Memorial Day Parade coming up, for instance, that's funded through the municipal budget. We have our excellent summer camp program here, and of course, the Borough Library. All of that's a part of what we do as a borough. Go ahead next. So this is kind of the main takeaway here. It's what we're actually required to present in this particular budget, which is the tax levy, which is going up about $400,000 this year, which represents 4.7% increase in the municipal taxes. Versus last year. There's really not, the other thing I wanted to point out is the tax rate is actually down. But because, as all of you know, the values of your properties have gone up simultaneously, even though the rate is down 5%, because the property values are up 10%, that nets out to about a 5% tax increase. So that's where we are on our municipal taxes this year. I mean, the next couple slides, we're gonna explain a little bit about what are the main factors driving the 4.7% tax increase. Now, go ahead, Michelle. Actually, if you could skip forward to the next slide, I'm gonna talk about that. I think it's a little better to talk about this one first. So the main appropriations that we have in this year's budget, the things that are really driving the cost increase, is we had $350,000 of union retro payments that we have to pay this year. Because a number of our union workers were working on a contract for a number of years. Unfortunately, prior administrations did not accrue enough money to make those payments. What's supposed to happen is, if you know that your workers are working on a contract in anticipation of the fact that they're gonna have standard raises, you're supposed to put money aside to make those payments. Unfortunately, that did not occur to the extent that it needed to, and as a result, we were $350,000 short in that fund. So that's one of the major drivers. The other major driver is we had a number of different lawsuits that we're also having to pay for this year in the amount of about $200,000. And that we'll have to essentially pay for in this year's budget. And those lawsuits, typically with a lawsuit, if there's a slip and fall incident or something like that, we have insurance that covers those kinds of lawsuits. But if it's a salary dispute, then the borough is responsible for that. And so we had to come up with those funds as well. That's a major driver. And then the last one, which is not just affecting Bradley Beach, and I don't know if there's actually been a number of newspaper articles about this, is there's an enormous increase in healthcare costs. I mean, families are seeing that, whether they're insured privately or whether you're working, there are costs that have been going up, but in particular, the borough is a part of the state health benefits program, and that saw about a 30 to 35.
37.
37%, yeah, 37.5% increase this year across the board. So that's where we have this third number on the left side, the $497,000 in healthcare and medical costs. And so all things being equal, we're looking at about an extra $1 million of costs. But like I said on the prior slide, we only had a $400,000 tax increase. Well, how did we do that? We were able to generate additional revenue that we didn't have in prior years, and that's outlined on the right half of this slide. So we have healthcare difference card, it's part of our healthcare programs that gave us savings. We have a number of different shared services, including shared port services, where we negotiated new contracts, we increased some of the revenue that we're getting as a result of that. We also have a new shared service with Neptune City that's sharing $80,000 in new revenue this year, so that's part of that $100,000. And then below that, we also have a $50,000 shared service with Neptune City for a shared recreation director. So that's a new thing that just happened this year and new costs, new savings. The other thing we did was we increased the number of our fines and had permit increases, resulting in about $100,000 in new revenue. Mayor, do you want to speak to that a little bit as far as the
Fines and permits.
the permits? Yeah.
Folks, Mayor, a number of these, and of course, Mitch, you're obviously new, but a number of these were implemented mid-year or later in the year last year. The Neptune City Court, for example, was implemented in November of last year. So what these are showing are full year revenue. Some of these may have contributed a little bit to revenue last year, a little bit. But these are the full year amounts. And in the case of fines and permits, when this administration, this council was pretty new, early in 2025, we realized through just trial and error that the borough had not increased court fines in over 20 years. In fact, there were two tranches. One increase had been 40 years earlier, and the other set of increases have been 20 years earlier. So last year we did raise fines significantly for the courts, parking, all kinds of not motor vehicle, not moving vehicle fines, but anything related to around town. Most of those fine amounts, because of the 20-year lapse, increased 50% to over 100%. I mean, a simple example was parking in disabled spaces doubled from $250 to $500, which, by the way, is the kind of, call it the market rate. That's the fine you face in most other local municipalities. So with that average increase above 50% of fines, we estimated that prior year fines have been around 90, another 50 to 70% is another, say, 50 grand. And we had a similar scenario where we hadn't increased a lot of our permit fees, just broadly in construction. Similarly, not over 20 plus years. Don't know why it just slipped through the cracks, but we also increased permitting fees, and a similar estimate got us approximately another 50 grand. So the combined total is roughly 100,000 of new revenue based on prior experience that we expect this year.
I appreciate that, Ryan. The last item on this list is healthcare waivers. One of the things that we implemented just in the past year is that we try to incent our cost per employee to provide our healthcare and medical is very, very expensive. So we basically offered to pay a few $1,000s. I know it's less than $2,500 to just give someone a little extra incentivization to say, well, you know what, instead of paying for the healthcare here, I'll get on my spouse's plan, or is typically what people do. And I think we had about 4 employees that opted for that, so we saw a savings there. So if you look at kind of the cost drivers versus the revenue, we're kind of close to that increase there. There was obviously some other wiggle room in the budget. Just a little bit here and a little bit there, but here are the main drivers and factors. Michelle, if you go back to the previous slide, please. Did you click around?
Michelle, can you hear us?
Mouse moving.
Could you go backwards?
Back 2, please. All right.
Perfect.
So this is another aspect of the budget that we just knew that a lot of people asked some questions about, a lot of people are curious about. And that involves the sale of the church property. And I just wanted to go over a little bit about this. Because although it's pretty much revenue neutral for the most part in our budget. At the same time, it's just an important source of revenue that we have. I just want to explain a little bit about how we're utilizing the funds generated in this. So the top line is it talks about the sale of the church, and essentially by our calculations, the total cost associated with purchasing the church property and some of the other expenses is around $1.7 million. And the total sale, which is under total proceeds in that orange column there, over $4.8 million. So essentially our profits are somewhat over $3 million. So the one thing that we want to make sure, and actually we're somewhat legally required to do this, is the expenses occurred and the debt incurred as a result of purchasing the property. We're actually not just going to extend that out and make taxpayers pay that. We're essentially taking our profits and we're putting that back toward the money that we borrowed in order to acquire the property. So for instance, in this year's budget, we took $709,000 under band debt retirement. We took $709,000 of those funds and we paid down bond anticipation notes, or money essentially that we borrowed in connection with the church. We can pay that down. The other thing that we're going to pay down kind of on an annual basis, and it varies somewhat from year to year, but it's about $125,000 to $130,000 a year. That's a $128,000 line item. Is that the annual debt service, the essentially mortgage payment, I guess you could say, that the town has to pay annually when we acquired that property. We're going to use the revenue that we generate, the funds we generate, to pay that off. And that way, we're not putting taxpayers on the hook for that. So on the other side, we had about $3 million in profits. And we're working on, how we're going to utilize those funds. And the idea is that this is essentially a one-time revenue source for the borough. And so we want to use it on one-time expenditures or one-time capital expenditures. And you see the list that we have. So we purchased a police car, we're resurfacing a parking lot. We're spending $120,000 for DPW equipment. We're providing funds for much needed upgrades for the fire and first aid squads and buildings. We're also utilizing some of those funds for payback from the retro case and lawsuits that we had from last year and costs associated with that. We're also putting $200,000 into our affordable housing trust, which still leaves us with over $2 million left out of those funds that we can utilize for one-time expenditures in the future. That's kind of the breakdown. Mayor, I don't know if there's anything you'd like to add or expand on.
Well,
Of this.
I'll add a comment, but I wanted to ask you to add a comment first, Mitch, and that is, could you tell folks what we're gonna do with that roughly $900,000 total at the bottom?
Right, that's a good question. So under total reserves remaining, the $900,000, I had mentioned that essentially the borough's mortgage payment, so to speak, and associated with the purchase of that property, we're gonna put that $900,000 in a special fund because we calculated how much those payments are gonna be over the course of the next several years. And every year, we're gonna take a little bit out of that fund and we're gonna pay that off. And when essentially the property is paid off, there will be nothing left in that reserve. So that's the idea that.
And when you say we, it's really pretty much an arm's length transaction, as I understand it. We'll put that money in an account that someone else manages. They will effectively pay it off. So we will not control those dollars.
Correct. So our bond counsel and our financial advisors will make a determination of how much money that we set aside for that. And it goes into a special account. And once it goes in that special account, the bond counsel, the financial advisor basically instruct them to give payments at a certain time, a certain date. And at that point in time, we kind of wash our hands of it and take care of that for us. So,
And the reason that I really appreciate our CFO putting this slide together is because last year, 2025, some really unusual things happen financially in this borough. You've alluded to them. The settlement of a 2.5 year union contract with fairly significant retro payments. A couple of lawsuits that have been outstanding for a few years that settled, that impacted salaries and wages. When a lawsuit settles because of discrimination claims or something, the insurance company pays that. When the lawsuit settles and the borough has to admit that we withheld wages that should have been paid, we have to pay those wages. So these were old lawsuits. We collectively inherited these from prior years, but we had to pay them through salaries and wages, which flow through the budget. So what was really important to me, and thankfully our CFO put this together, not only for the council, but for our residents, is it's really important that we did not use the church proceeds, I'll call it inappropriately, to subsidize any tax adjustments for the borough. Because there's always a temptation, if you have an inflow, you still see here, we have over, I can't read the numbers, but $3 million at that bottom mustard line. That's $3 million of proceeds that we still have, I'll call it left over from any budget activity that you're experiencing in 2026. And the reason that's important is because if we were to take more money, we could buy down the tax rate maybe to 0, no tax increase. But if we did that, it's a one-time revenue infusion to bring down your taxes. Well, what happens next year? There's no more revenue. Your taxes go back up that 5%, and then another 3% or whatever it might be. So everything that our CFO has done to work with Jeanette Larison, our former CFO, they've worked together, is to make sure that we properly account for the sales proceeds, because that was a very unusual infusion of revenue one time, and we want to make sure that we use it appropriately. And that's why it's important, and why I called out that 900,000, because that money goes to pay off existing indebtedness. Normally, Mitch, you educated me, we had 8 more years of bond payments. It's not like a house mortgage where you sell your house and you close your mortgage, you pay off your mortgage. We sold the church, we got the proceeds, we still had the bond indebtedness. And it was 8 years. This dollar amount you've educated me to understand will pay it off in 3 years, but it'll be done by an independent agency. So I'm very proud of the fact that and I think this council takes a lot of credit in this, that we're using the church proceeds, one-time infusion, a lot of money, but we're using them appropriately and wisely to ultimately benefit the taxpayers. For example, one last comment on that note, I've had people say to me, oh, this is going to be great for taxes, the sale of the church. And I've said from the beginning, that is not the way it works. These funds, after you pay off the debt, the rest of the funds, the so-called profit, keep in mind that's profit generated on a capital asset, the church property. What we use that profit for is to pay down future capital improvements. And you see almost all this are police car, parking lots, could be roof repairs, whatever, but we need to use it to pay down capital improvements. We're effectively giving our residents the benefit of those profits, but we're not doing it all in 1 year. We're doing it as capital improvements are needed. So that's the logic, and I thought this did a nice job of splitting it out for everybody.
Yeah, and I might add to those comments, because we're utilizing these funds to buy these capital projects, it means we don't have to borrow. So we don't have to pay any interest associated with these types of capital improvements, whereas if we utilize it just for tax purposes, and then we're continually borrowing as municipalities do for their capital improvements, we would be owing the interest. So this is kind of a very, very fiscally responsible way to utilize this revenue.
Any comments or questions from the council of our CFO?
No, the one thing that just stands out to me is that we have a proposed tax increase of $400,000. And of that, $550,000 is from lawsuits and one-time union settlements. So that makes up the increase. Without those one-time charges, our rates are down.
Yeah. And, I don't want to undersell the importance of having a massive medical premium increase too. 500,000, give or take, is record breaking. Our attorney told me that in the town he knows, the municipal increase was over 13%. Because largely driven by medical premium increases, so we'd love to have our tax rate, we'd love to have our tax levy increase low single digits. 2% would be wonderful, 3%, very good. None of us started out happy about 4.7. However, given the obstacles that the borough has encountered, I think we feel very good about the fact that we're under 5%.
I was going to say the same thing. I've heard of other towns going up 16%, 20%. So this doesn't look as alarming. And I wanted to personally thank you for meeting with Councilwoman Greenblatt and me at 9:30 in the morning on a Saturday. That was really great. And you really helped us to understand the budget and see what we're dealing with. And I want to say thank you for your time
Well,
and for everything you've done.
thank you.
Yeah, just a quick comment also. After he had made the sale of the church properties, and there was a lot of discussion and various public comment, oh, where's that money? How much money is gonna be left? $4.8 million, oh my goodness. And Mayor, I have to give you credit, along those, throughout that period of time, you were doing the machinations of your anticipation of where things were gonna fall. And you kept saying, well, we're gonna have about 2.5 million left over, and here we are, 2.3 million. So you were on top of that, and I think with your leadership in that, and I think with Mitch's recommendations here, fiscally responsibly paying down that debt the way we have, I think that's the right thing to do. And I think having that reserve in there that to pay off the bonds over 3 years saves the borough plenty of dollars. The $2.3 million for future capital investments. I just would want to say that we had to take very with extreme prejudice in how we spend that money, what capital improvements are really important and necessary in the borough. And that we are very thoughtful of how that's expended over the years and the future. As it sits there in accrues interest, that's a great thing. But there are many challenges that we're dealing with the budget overall, and not using that for a tax increase, a trade-off is the right thing to do. So again, thank you for your leadership on this.
Okay, great. Any other comments or questions? Normally, there's no requirement to open the introduction, open.
Chair. I think it's one more slide.
Oh, I'm sorry, please.
It's the last slide, Michelle. Mostly because, why you guys just have my email?
Michelle, I don't know if you can hear us, but last slide. Was it one more after
Yeah,
that?
one more. Maybe two more. It's the last one. No,
No, the very last slide.
other way.
There you go.
There we are. So I think I mentioned previously that the budget document in whole is gonna be posted on our website. And the public hearing is Thursday, June 5th. So I look forward to your questions and comments at that meeting. And if you have any questions, there's my email. I'll do my best to get back to you. And that concludes my presentation. Thank you very much for your attention. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Mitch. I appreciate everything you've done. You're brand new to the borough. You jumped in both feet. And I think you got us to a really good place. So thank you. What I wanted to now say to the public is you haven't seen any of the detail. Literally, there's a 100-page budget document that will be posted either tonight or early tomorrow morning. You'll have access to that document on our website. We are open to questions. I'll field questions. Mr. Simon will field questions as you have them. Normally, we would not, there's no requirement to have a public hearing at this point, and in fact, you don't have a lot of data to work with. However, I do want to open this up now to the public, just in case you have any general questions for us. Mr. Nishapkin.
Not a question, just a comment. June 5th is actually a Friday.
Yes. Where does it?
Is it a Friday or? Erica, is that our date?
No, it's the 4th, June 4th is next, would be the council meeting, it's gonna be adopted.
Which begs another question, is June 4th 30 days or 29 days?
You only need 28.
Oh, you only need 28?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, and it's 10 minutes there.
Okay,
They count the days in.
thank you, Paul, for that insightful observation. Rick, stand up, please.
Rick Bartolome, 116 Newark. Just a question on the terms, I guess, of the bond that you're paying off in 3 years instead of 8 years. So I don't know what the terms of the bond are. Why don't we just pay it off in the first year and any interest for years 2 and 3, you're saving?
The answer is kind of you can't. The soonest that we can pay it off is, I think,
3 years,
3 years.
yeah,
So that's the structure of the bond.
2029.
Okay, because that was my first question, pay it off now.
Yeah, it doesn't work like a home mortgage
Okay.
where, oh, let's make our principal payments ahead, so you can't do that.
Okay, this came up.
Oh, but the bond actually goes until 2033.
Well, he said in 8 years or 9
It
years.
is 8, but we're gonna nip that in just off at the soonest possible time, which is 20.
Okay.
and Rick, there's only because you raised the question, I'm gonna add one more bit of spice for all the accountants out there. If we could have, I think we would have gotten the full 8 years because the current bond fixed 2% interest rate. And we could have
Family.
invested more money
Yeah.
elsewhere, got more of a return. However, there are very specific sanctions, legal reasons why we're not allowed to arbitrage the rates on public financing. So we had no choice.
So I just had another quick question. The 900,000 that's going into the reserve. The reserve, and you said an outside counsel takes care of how that's all done. Do they invest that money?
I know it's,
So that-
you looked at it,
you know,
no, please, go ahead.
There are, because we're not allowed to arbitrage them, essentially, what we're not allowed to do is. This is essentially like tax-free debt, so we are not allowed to profit off of it.
Okay,
So if we were to take that, that 900,000, let's put a CD, get 4% on it,
right.
illegal, the feds would be all over us. So, you can't do that. In fact, there are special funds that the government has where you have to match it with your interest rate. And in reality, even though, the interest rate is 2%, because we actually were, essentially, we were paid. I don't know exactly what it's called. We were kind of paid some money in advance for taking the bond. The interest rate is more like 1%, is how it's calculated. So you essentially have to put that, that money into an escrow account that has effectively the same interest as we borrow the money on.
So that 900,000 is a discounted present value of an annuity at an effective rate of 1%, because that's the effective interest rate we're getting, even though the bond note says 2%. It's convoluted, but bottom line is, it's arm's length from us. Once we write that check, Bradley
Right.
Beach doesn't touch
But I
it.
understood, I just wanted to know whether we could make any money on that 900,000. Okay, thank
It'd be
you.
nice, it'd be nice if we could.
Like the way you think, Rick. Other questions from the audience here before I turn to Zoom? Okay, Zoom, any questions on Zoom? Okay, seeing none, we'll close the public comments and let's now move to approve resolution 2026-131, which is the introduction of the 2026 budget to be read by title only.
Second,
Mrs. Noble?
yes.
Ms. Greenblatt?
Yes.
Mr. Carr?
Yes.
Mr. Nowicki?
Yes.
Mayor Gubatosi?
Yes. Okay, thank you, everyone. That was the important part of the evening. I think the rest of this should move relatively quickly. Item 7, approval of minutes. I'll make a motion that we approve April 21, 2026 council business meeting minutes.
Second,
Mrs. Noble?
yes.
Ms. Greenblatt?
Yes.
Mr. Carr?
Yes.
Mr. Nowicki?
Yes.
Mayor Gubatosi?
Yes. Item 8 on the agenda is public comments or questions pertaining to any items on the agenda only. General questions we'll have at the end of the meeting. Any questions on the agenda? Comments? Okay, seeing none, we'll move to item 9, which is ordinances. We have 2 ordinances for introduction, and
Actually, yeah, right.
do we have 3? Oh, I'm sorry, yeah, yeah.
Page.
Top of the page, okay. So, the first, item on is, ordinance 2026-27. It's the ordinance correcting ordinance number 2026-9 as to the misnumbering of chapter 450 zoning. Basically, earlier this year, we passed, an ordinance amendment to amend zoning ordinance, chapter 450. But we got the numbering wrong, so we're not changing anything in content. We just have to get the numbering right, so this is really kind of an administrative change. Mr. Cannon, is there anything I should add, or is that largely it?
No, that's it. It's just to help them codify it correctly. There's a reserve section, so if it's in there.
Okay, perfect. Any comments or questions? Okay, seeing none, I'll make a motion that we approve for introduction ordinance 2026-27.
Second,
Mr. Noble?
Yes.
Ms. Greenblatt?
yes.
Mr. Carr?
Yes.
Mr. Nowicki?
Yes.
Mayor Gubatosi?
Yes. Okay, the next 2 ordinance introductions have both been led, the development of these have been led by Councilman Carp. So, Mitchell, I'm gonna turn it over to you.
Thank you. So this is ordinance 2026-28, amending chapter 348 portable storage units and dumpsters. So with this ordinance amendment, we're tackling a few updates. One, we're increasing the fees for dumpsters, as they also haven't been updated in several years. Evidently Bradley Beach has been a really cheap place to do business. We're just trying to make it fair and equitable compared to all the other fees. There were also mentions of sidewalks and dumpster locations, so we made sure to remove the word sidewalk from the ordinance. Normally, when you take out an ordinance, take out a dumpster permit there for 30 days, and you can renew them. One of the things that has caused some administrative overhead was you build a house and you need a dumpster there for more than 30 days. So there's now a new 90-day contractor dumpster permit, which is 3 times the price of the 30-day permit. So it saves a lot of administrative overhead and time and having to come and renew and also check out whether or not the permit is being properly displayed. There was also problems that we ran into during the winter time. I know I had it around my house where there were dumpsters in the street during the snow removal. And there were some roads which were almost impassable because of the mounds of snow next to the dumpsters. So this ordinance also addresses that, to be able to have dumpsters removed when there is a declared emergency. Previously, you needed a dumpster permit if it was more than 2 days. Now any dumpster will need a permit. And we now specified that we can't have dumpsters on any state or county roads within sight of Bradley. I just wanted to make one note of something. There was a typo in the paragraph and a omission for paragraph J, which is now paragraph I. We forgot to remove the word sidewalk from that paragraph, and the important part of is prohibited was missing. So I sent those changes over to
And
you.
that was sent out to all of you, and the revised ordinance was posted on the website earlier today.
Thank you, Erica.
You're welcome.
Any questions, comments?
Good work.
Yeah, my comment is just that you along, and I know you work closely with Pam Valentine and Bill Young, maybe more on bamboo.
Mhm.
But you're the fact that you took the initiative, that you brought this to such a great finished product, and that you worked so seamlessly, it seemed to me, with our employees. I thought, awesome work and very commendable. So thank you.
All right, so without any questions, I'd like to make a motion to approve the introduction of ordinance 2026-28, amending chapter 348 portable storage units and dumpsters.
Second.
Mr. Noble?
Yes.
Ms. Greenblatt?
Yes.
Mr. Carr?
Yes.
Mr. Nowicki?
Yes.
Mayor Gubatosi?
Yes. Mitch, you want to leave?
Sure. All right. So next one is ordinance 2026-29, the ordinance amending chapter 120 bamboo and invasive plants. So we need to strengthen and clarify our existing rules on bamboo and invasive plants. And if you live near or next to somebody with bamboo, you'll understand the significance of this. These species can cause property damage, infrastructure damage, and then have it go over to your neighbor's property as well. They just create ongoing nuisances and lead to really costly repairs. Additionally, the state of New Jersey actually now bans the sale of bamboo and invasive plants, which we're also reflecting in our ordinance. So this ordinance now aligns better with the New Jersey laws regarding the plant categories. So we really specify the different types of bamboo and invasive species. We're also redefining the buffer zones. The buffer zones, how far away with the bamboo from property lines, sidewalk easements, rights of way were 5 feet. There are now 20 feet. This also establishes enforceable containment and removal standards. Because what's going to happen is when bamboo is identified and removed, the code enforcement will then come back in a year to see whether or not that it has been remediated. If not, it needs to be remediated again. And also importantly, if the homeowner is unable to make those remediations, it also allows Bradley to go in, make those remediations and recover those costs through municipal liens. Because the cost of doing that, I know my neighbor had it done, was upwards of $5,000. And it's also important to note that there's no grandfathering. It's not like, well, I have bamboo, so we don't have to do anything. Well, that's not true. You still need to now adhere to the new bamboo regulations, and that 20 feet is the major part of that enforcement. And of course, you can't buy bamboo in New Jersey anymore, and it still remains prohibited to plant any of these invasive species or bamboo anywhere in Bradley. Questions?
Am I correct that it also protects the neighbors? And if there's any work that needs to be done on the neighbor's property, then it's the responsibility of the initial bamboo owners.
That's correct.
And it's
That's
a
correct.
significant work.
Yeah, and one of the things that we do in the ordinance is we actually define bamboo property owner.
I'll say that a number of years ago, maybe 3 or 4 years ago, I was involved in drafting the borough's first invasive species ordinance and took great pride in it at the time. And 3 or 4 years later, I realized how inadequate it was. So thank you very much for the work you did. As I read through your version, I appreciated how much more you covered than I was able to do 3 years ago. So thank you.
Any other questions? All right, well, I'd like to make a motion to approve the introduction of ordinance 2026-29, amending chapter 120 for bamboo and invasive plants.
Second,
Mrs. Noble,
Yes.
Ms. Greenblatt,
yes.
Mr. Carp,
Yes.
Mr. Nowicki,
Yes.
Mayor Gubatosi.
Yes. All right, we'll move to ordinance adoptions. Now for adoptions, I'll remind everyone that after the council has a brief discussion, we'll open up to an official public hearing. And if the public has any comments or questions, you'll have that opportunity to ask. So ordinance 2026-25 is the ordinance supplementing the borough's revised general ordinances and this is all for chapters 274 related to lead-based paint inspections. Effectively, what we did here is we added the ability to charge for these inspections. We just did not have a cost for the inspection. We hired an individual to conduct these inspections, then realized we couldn't charge for it because it should have been in the ordinance. It wasn't. So this is somewhat of an administrative adjustment to make sure we have a fee structure in place. Any comments or questions?
It looks like money also goes into a trust fund for it, right? That a fee is assessed.
I wasn't even aware.
Yeah, I don't know. I read something that there was $20 per unit to a trust fund in addition to the fees. Or that was in.
It's structured to make sure it covers the city. I'm sure you're right. Beyond that, I don't know what, Mr. Kenna, do you have any idea how the trust fund piece of this operates?
According to statute, but I couldn't tell you exactly mechanically, but it's part of the statute.
Okay. So we've got statutory language covering this, I think is the answer. So any other comments or questions?
Good.
No, all right. I'll make a motion that we adopt ordinance 2026-25 regarding lead-based paint inspections.
You wanna open it up?
Oh, I'm so sorry. I got sidetracked by the trust question.
I threw you off, sorry.
And now I'd like to make a motion that we open it up to formally for a public hearing.
Oh, second, yes.
Ms. Noble?
I'm not the only one.
Yes.
obviously.
Ms. Greenblatt?
Yes.
Mr. Clark?
Yes.
Mr. Nowaky?
Yes.
Mayor Guptile?
Yes. Public, show of hands, questions, comments. Mr. Cannon, did you?
When you mean trust fund, you mean lead hazard control assistance fund?
Yeah.
That helps remediate lead in multifamily buildings that substandard housing that would otherwise not be remediated.
Okay, so a component of our fees goes to this broader.
Statewide goes to cleaning up lead all around the state in places that might not otherwise be able to afford or otherwise qualify under that assistance program.
Perfect, thank you, sir. No, oh, there's a question, yes. Linda.
I'll put it similar to the rabies fund, like you pay into the rabies fund for your dog and then they use it for rabies prevention, they're the same kind
I
of.
didn't know if we had.
Okay, thank
Same
you.
back statutory.
Yeah.
He's correct. I read that this morning. Linda Duffy, 312 Brimley Avenue. How are you going to roll this out? Since we have many rental units in this town. So who is going to be going out or are you sending and addressing these people that have rental units? Are you gonna send postcards? Because we do have a lot of people that rent, under the table.
Let me ask Mr. Doherty, our business administrator, do we have a plan? I know I've been told we have time to implement, but do we have a plan yet as to how we'll roll it out?
It's under the function of the code enforcement. So the code enforcement should handle it, along with Blue Environmental.
So
We have our,
they have a list of properties and they'll address those properties?
yeah, and not enough bread at each of them. Pretty small town, it's not gonna be much of it.
51% rent. Now, I know we do have a lot of condos and stuff in town, but a lot of them are, back houses and such. So,
I mean, think about it, a lot of rentals, like, I'll use 301 Main Street as an example, right, that's. Not gonna be a concern, like, as you mentioned.
yeah, that isn't gonna.
Something built 1930, right, that's gonna be a concern. But,
Anything before 78, correct?
yeah, just as an example.
So if you don't register as a landlord. How are you gonna check on them?
Well, if people are operating illegally, you mean?
I'm not saying that, but yes, they are.
Well, if they're not registering as a landlord, they're not operating legally.
So then you don't,
That's a whole other level.
that's what I'm saying, how is this gonna be
That's
enforced?
a whole other level of enforcement.
Same way we enforce all the houses.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a,
So if you don't register as a landlord, you don't have to pay this.
If you
And
don't
you won't
register as a
do that.
landlord, you're gonna get fined
You're
for
gonna
not
get
registering as
multiple
a landlord,
tickets.
you're gonna.
I'm not saying
If
that
you're
you're
found.
that, I'm just saying, you see it going on.
Well, if you see it going on.
I don't have to report it, I'm not ratting on my neighbors. It does happen though, and it's going
But
on.
this happens all the time, we
I know.
find, but so we can't tell you how we're gonna find people who are
So-
illegally operating. But we do find people.
So I know you do find people, but you look around, you can look around in probably your own neighborhood. And see what goes on.
All we, our current procedures won't change, if that's what you're asking. Our procedures are designed, we have various ways of identifying folks that are not compliant. I know Pam Valentine, not that long ago, a month ago, gave me a list of, I don't know if it was 5 or 10 property owners who she identified as illegally operating. They were not registered landlords, but they were renting their property. So we find these people, but to your point, unless people rat out their neighbors, we may not find
So the
them.
code enforcer isn't gonna be the person walking around and seeing all this.
Well, sure, the code enforcer goes out and enforces code, but. When someone doesn't register as a landlord, it's not simply that they're not paying the borough for their landlord registration. That means they also don't have a certificate of occupancy.
or fire
That means
inspection.
you, don't have a fire inspection. You could have live electrical wires. So if you know something that's going on like that, it's not ratting your neighbor out, it's
Well, it's not
protecting.
it's not my job to do that.
No, I understand that, but if you're telling me that you know that's
I
happening in your
follow the rules
neighborhood.
here. but
I'd ask you to tell us to
No.
protect your neighbors.
So we have X amount, so you could tell who has a rental property by their sewer tax. Because you pay double. That's one way to check, and people rent, they don't rent, they give it to their kids, or their family comes down for the weekend, they stay there. So there are many situations when it doesn't apply, but there are many situations where it should apply. And is it? That's my question. I'm not trying to raise doubt, but there is a lot of.
So you're asking can we better police
Yes,
this? And the short term is, we just wanted to begin an inspection process, but over time, we're trying to enhance all of our procedures.
also, we're paying $200, I believe, right, for the insurance, I think it's a dust inspection. And then a $25 administrative fee for Pam to like photocopy something and put in a file. Why is that so high? And on top of that, you pay the $20 to the state.
I mean, again, these are more or less standardized pricing that
But
municipalities everywhere.
that's what happened.
Nobody has done a study.
You show her your insurance form, she just
Okay,
checks it off and throws it in. It's
your,
just-
your concern is noted.
All right, thank you.
Any other comments or questions? Yes, Mr. Blanch.
Thomas J. Cohen, 612 Third Avenue. This is a perfect example of the state mandating something. State mandates landlord registration. We have to do it, but we don't want to raise taxes. So we charge administrative. Same with this lead-based paint. State demands it. Don't give us any funding for it. We have to pay for it. So that's the reason for the administrative fees. I want to be clear about that. Also, Mr. Cannon, I believe that state licensed multiple dwellings which are inspected separately are exempt from the lead-based paint inspection. Is that true?
I believe the DCA regulated, they've already been inspected for lead-based paint, significantly before this law.
So if we take them out of the equation, there's a lot fewer units. Is that correct?
And the ones built after 1978,
So we take them out also.
yes.
Okay, great. Thank you, Megan.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions? Okay, seeing none others, I'll make a motion that we close the public comment and adopt 2026-25.
Second.
Ms. DeNoble?
Yes.
Ms. Greenblatt?
Yes.
Mr. Carr?
Yes.
Mr. Nowicki?
Yes.
Mayor Gubatosi?
Yes. Okay, the next ordinance is for adoption 2026-26. And this is amending chapter 451, Fair Share Housing, Affordable Housing of the borough's revised general ordinances to revise the chapter's name and to properly reference the borough's affordable housing overlay zones. And just as a quick overview of, we've already talked about this at introduction. But when we established, we joined round 4, participated in round 4 of affordable housing. And as part of that commitment, as part of the negotiation, we identified overlay zones in the borough. And affordable housing was happy, the borough of Bradley Beach was happy. We went to codify that and we realized that we have a chapter 451, which is not a zoning chapter, but it was chapter 451 that defined our prior overlay zones. And now that we had new approved overlay zones, they needed to be in chapter 450. We put them in 450, but at the same time, we had to introduce, or shortly subsequent, we had to introduce amendments to 451 to take the old overlay zones out of 451. So again, this is an administrative correction, if you will, to how our ordinances had earlier, I think in 2017, been structured. We just identified it when we struck our deal with affordable housing. So any comments or questions about this one? Having no other comments or questions, I'll make a motion that we open it up to the public for a public hearing.
Second.
Ms. DeNoble?
Yes.
Ms. Greenblatt?
Yes.
Mr. Carr?
Yes.
Mr. Nowicki?
Yes.
Mayor Gubatosi?
Yes. Any comments or questions from the public? Okay, seeing none in the room or on Zoom, I'll make a motion that we close public hearing and vote to adopt ordinance 2026-26.
Second.
Ms. DeNoble?
Yes.
Ms. Greenblatt?
Yes.
Mr. Carr?
Yes.
Mr. Nowicki?
Yes.
Mayor Gubatose?
Yes. Item 10 on our agenda, communications, there are none. Item 11, we have resolutions, starting with our consent agenda resolutions. Are there any items on this consent agenda that anyone would like to discuss or vote separately? Okay, we're good. All right, then I will make a motion that we approve resolutions 2026-132 through 2026-137.
Second.
Ms. DeNoble?
Yes.
Ms. Greenblatt?
Yes.
Mr. Carr?
Yes.
Mr. Nowicki?
Yes.
Mayor Gubatose?
Yes. We have a number of individual resolutions, starting with 2026-138, approving a block party for the 400 Monmouth Avenue, the 400 block, for Saturday, July 11th, 2025, with a rain date of Saturday, July 25th, 2026, from 5 PM to 9 PM. Any comments or questions about this raucous block party?
It sounds awesome.
Please approve it.
Yeah. Shauna get the vote?
I think she'll decide.
Do I need to abstain?
You probably should.
Okay.
Yeah, great.
Yeah.
Our attorney signing.
Oh, yes, it's it. Okay.
Our land use attorney.
Perhaps
Chair.
Mr. Nowicki needs
I
to,
hate, I'm sure you want, yeah.
actually, you voted last year, so.
We did.
Erica, said another way, is anyone up here allowed to vote on this?
You and you.
We're
Alright,
invited.
So, Councilman Carp or Council President DeNoble, any comments or questions?
No, we're good.
No. All good.
If two of us vote no, they lose. All right, I'll make a motion that we approve 2026-138.
Second,
Ms. DeNoble?
yes.
Ms. Greenblatt?
Abstain.
Mr. Carr?
Yeah.
Mr. Nowicki?
I'm saying.
Mayor Gubatose?
Yes. 2026-139, approving a shared service agreement renewal between the Department of Public Works and the Bradley Beach Elementary School for seasonal ground maintenance services. As you guys may recall, we struck this agreement last year. It's a shared service, $2,000. Our Department of Public Works does the maintenance of the lawns.
Mhm.
Any comments or questions to renewing it?
So the school's happy with their service.
Apparently they are, yes.
The superintendent used to be out there with the lawnmower, Dr. Heidelberg, so he's very appreciative of this, yes.
I can tell you, when I emailed him and asked him, yes, he was very, very happy with that resolution on the agenda.
Yes.
So, I guess we will move forward with, I'll make a motion that we approve resolution 2026-139.
Second,
Ms. DeNoble?
yes.
Ms. Greenblatt?
Yes.
Mr. Carr?
Yes.
Mr. Nowicki?
Yes.
Mayor Gubatose?
Yes. Resolution 2026-140 is authorizing an award of the contract for bid number 26-13 dumpster hauling services to Mazza Recycling of Tinton Falls. Any comments or questions?
Have they been our vendor before for this?
Yes,
For
we're,
years.
okay, no other comments or questions. I'll make a motion. We approve 2026-140.
Second,
Ms. DeNoble?
Yes.
Ms. Greenblatt?
Yes.
Mr. Carr?
Yes.
Mr. Nowicki?
Yes.
Mayor Gubatose?
Yes. Okay, 2026-141, approving parking permit fee rates to be charged by Park Mobile LLC on behalf of the Borough of Bradley Beach. Now, this is gonna take a little bit of discussion because what I want to make sure the public is aware of is the fact that we've had an hourly parking meter rate of $150 an hour, $1.50. No wonder nobody comes to Bradley Beach anymore. $1.50 per hour to park along Ocean Ave. We have not increased those fees over a couple of years, at least 3. It's been $1.50 per hour. And as our beach budgets have grown tighter, as we look for other forms of revenue, one of the things the council has begun to discuss and to evaluate are should we be increasing our parking meter fees from the current $1.50 level. Other neighboring towns, council people have shared with me, get upwards of $2 and $2.50. And I gather some beachfront property in Asbury is $3 an hour. So the question for us is, and before any of us propose anything, I'll throw out a number and then let's all react to it. But I was thinking we probably, the Borough of Bradley Beach probably should be looking at a rate closer to $2 an hour from the 150 we're at today. That should generate, if we were to move that forward, somewhere between $40,000 and $60,000, depending on if construction interrupts any of that parking. That it could be a 40, 50,000, let's call it, increase in revenue. I would serve up that number, in part because I think it's justified in terms of, providing beach services, but also I want to be respectful of, not increasing those amounts exorbitantly. I want to make sure that, folks, continue to have equal access, whether they are residents or non-residents, to our beaches. I know there's been some discussion that we might want to consider split rates. Some other municipalities charge a lower rate during weekdays, and then they charge a slightly higher rate on weekends. So I'll just stop there. Me personally, I'm leaning towards a flat $2 weekdays and weekends. But others, comments or thoughts?
I agree with you. It seems it's going rate, $2. I do like maybe a steady $2. I don't, I know Asbury Park does go higher. Manasquan charges $20 a day and 15 during the week. But it's a flat fee, so it's nice if people just want to spend a couple hours, they can go for that. So I do think $2 is very fair.
I like the round number, $2. It's, I would take it, for both weekday and weekend, and, obviously the $2 is not outrageous, so I think that's, go with that.
Yeah, it's comparable to other towns. It's that our increased rate is everybody else's low rate. So it's not like, oh, Bradley Beach is now the most expensive. Also, 50% of our revenue comes from weekends. So if we did increase it just on the weekends, it really does affect a large portion of our visitors who come and pay for the parking. And so I also agree that 50 cents across the board, $2 for it.
And I have a question, what is the parking time frame? Is it 9 to 5? 9 to 7?
8 to 8 to 7.
Mr. Doherty, do you know? Yeah. I don't know.
Pardon?
Do you know offhand, what are the hours between which we charge for parking?
I'd have to double check, but I think it is like 8 to 7.
8 to 7.
Okay, that's probably the maximum.
Yeah.
For sure.
No, you could, honestly, Belmar charges till 1 in the morning. So you can go as long
But
as
we
you
don't,
Yeah,
we
we
don't
don't have that
have,
kind of-
we don't have stuff on.
want.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And the nice thing about Park Mobile is you can always adjust that on the
Yeah.
fly as opposed to,
That's
in the
great.
past, you have to print the sign.
Yeah.
This you can just adjust as the mayor and council see it.
And what's nice too is that we do have free parking offered too, if you park just on the west side. And it does say they charge from 8 AM or 8 AM to 7 PM. I think is what we do. Yeah, but we do still have free parking, so there's options for people.
Does Park Mobile charge a fee, the user fee?
They do. There's add-on to whatever our rate is.
So there's the annual or the hourly rate, as the mayor mentioned, $150. And then there's the service charge to, the credit card companies. But out of that $1.50, Park Mobile takes a percentage for administering the program for us.
Administrative, and so do you know what the fee is? I'm just curious.
Couple bucks, $3 maybe.
But it's a dollar figure fee plus the percentage for credit card use?
Yes, it is an add.
And you can only use credit card. Yeah, I guess you could use a debit card. If you use a debit card, you
You
get.
can use debit card, yeah, or Apple Pay.
But a debit card, there's
There's still a
still.
fee, it doesn't matter what you use. so
Okay, I guess that's
three-
our word.
What's great about them is anywhere you go now, you see Park
Yeah.
Mobile. I asked my nephew, do you have Park Mobile app?
Yeah.
Of course I do.
Yeah.
Because everybody is.
Bradley Beach was a little late to the game.
Yeah, so,
But
but it's.
We want to make sure it works,
Yeah.
make sure we have good
Little
customers.
hiccups we ran into last year was, let's say you took your wife's car up and you didn't have the right license plate. You put Park Mobile in, but it had your license plate, so you would get a summons, but we would always clear it up. So we ran into those little hiccups.
I think it was a learning opportunity for everybody. Now I know how to add a vehicle to the app.
Any other comments or questions? All right, I will make a motion that we approve resolution 2026-141 for Park Mobile.
Second,
Mr. Noble?
Yeah,
Ms. Greenblatt?
yes.
Mr. Clark?
Yes.
Mr. Nowicki?
Yes.
Mayor Gubatosi?
Yes,
And it's $2 for weekdays and weekends, right?
for both. Okay, 2026-142 is authorizing temporary emergency appropriations. This is a request from our CFO, just to make sure that Bradley Beach keeps the wheels on the bus as we drive down the road. So any comments or questions of our CFO on this one? All right, I'll make a motion that we approve 2026-142.
Second. Mr. Noble?
Yes.
Ms. Greenblatt?
Yes.
Mr. Clark?
Yes.
Mr. Nowicki?
Yes.
Mayor Gubatose?
Yes. And in our new CFO's ongoing efforts to make Bradley Beach a stronger financially sound accounting structure, we have 2026-143, canceling certain balances and closing out capital accounts. And again, this is pretty much part of your cleanup efforts, Mr. Sine. So any comments or questions for our CFO?
So we went through a big exercise previously, with all these accounts and whatnot, so these are just some danglers that we had to take care of.
We've known for a year that we've got a lot of extra accounts, but some and audit reports have highlighted it to us. And a number of, well, actually, Mr. Sine, maybe I just ask you to give a quick overview as to why these couple of accounts that you've identified.
Right, they're just, it's money that we funded, money that we have allocated to projects we're just not going to complete. So as a result, we say, okay, we have $75,000 to do this project. We spent $70,000. We have nothing left to do with this project. There's $5,000 left over. We're gonna put that money back to surplus. So that's what we're doing.
So it's closing out.
Yes, that's correct. Canceling is the terminology, but it's closing out. That's correct.
And I've been hearing off and on about this for at least a few weeks, if not longer, but you've been kind of painstakingly going through account by account to figure out if we can close them out.
Right.
So thank you for that effort. So part of the cleanup finally coming to a close. If no other comments or questions, I will make a motion that we approve 2026-143.
Second.
Mr. Noble?
Yes.
Ms. Greenblatt?
Yes.
Mr. Clark?
Yes.
Mr. Nowicki?
Yes.
Mayor Gubatose?
Yes. Okay, that concludes resolutions. I'll move to item 12 on the agenda, announcements. There are none. Item 13A, we all anxiously await the administrator report. Mr. Doherty.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm gonna have a little lengthy report if that's okay, but I have some very good news to report. On the topic of finances, one of the things that's very important to Mayor Gubatose and his administration is getting as much money as we can out of every dollar that we spend. And I can report that the sewer project on Fifth Avenue and paving is finally complete. And it was completed $224,000 under budget. If you know anything about municipalities or county government or state government, anything on budget is fantastic. Anything under budget is really unheard of. But I know that that's since day one, that's been a priority for Mayor Gubatose. So it's nice to report that. Additionally, we have some other contracts or projects that are hopefully gonna go under contract soon. They're out to bid. The Sylvan Lake Bulkhead project, that is out to bid. The opening is gonna be May 12th with hopefully a contractor for the mayor and council to consider an award to on the 19th. The other part of Fifth Avenue, Phase 2, which goes towards Ocean Avenue and parts of Park Place, that bid opening is scheduled for June 2nd. Which it'll be tight, but we hope to have that on for the June 4th award. And then Ocean Park Avenue, that is also gonna be a June 2nd bid opening with hopefully award on June 4th. Those are our significant infrastructure projects. I can tell you that one of the hot topics in town, especially this time of year, are beach lockers. Michelle Wiley, who received her award earlier, has done a remarkable job. All the beach lockers have been rented. We were able to take 54 people off the waiting list. There were 36 new locker leases. Locker numbers should be coming out sometime next week. And there are still 475 currently on the waiting list. So obviously the mayor and council are moving forward or have moved forward with an ordinance to change, the folks that are eligible for lockers moving forward. And hopefully that'll help reduce that waiting list even further in 2027. But in 2026, think things are moving along very well. Verizon, you'll see them out on Main Street. They're doing some projects where they're removing old cable, old copper cable. Now that you have all this fiber. We've also been in discussions with them about those two poles that were cut about a quarter of the way down where JCP&L removed their wires. This is in front of the Shell gas station in the northern part of town. Hopefully that'll get done at some point this month. But between JCP&L and Verizon, both of them are working well with us. But neither one of these are outages. So their primary concern when it comes to allocating their resources is to go where places are outed or have outages. So if someone's go up there and cut a wire, faster. The pump station is progressing well. The bathrooms are coming along well. I walked through the concession airspace today with the successful concession vendor who was awarded at the last borough meeting. I think they're gonna open up maybe sometime end of June is what they're looking at. They have dozens of concessions throughout the whole state of New Jersey. This one is gonna be more of a grab and go type of concessions. There's no gas there, there's no hoods, they're not gonna be really grilling or making food there. So think of, drinks, ice cream, snacks, bags of chips, pretzels, that's gonna be the type of.
Can they have deli sandwiches and things like that?
I don't know, they did talk about a panini press. But I don't know, it's not a very big space for, a typical deli with what that would offer. But no, we didn't really get into the specifics of sandwiches like that. And I do wanna just mention two other things if I can. I really appreciate the mayor. When we brought Mitch Syme, that is, not Mitchell Carr. When we brought Mitch Syme on, this is the first place he's ever been a CFO. And he was coming into a financial situation that has really deteriorated in the previous 4 years. So we're still unwinding this, and Mitch has been working Saturdays, Sundays, in the evening. If you know Mayor Gubitosi, he works every evening. So Mitch was, on the phone with him, could have been Saturday night, Sunday nights, it didn't matter, to get his arms around this, and as the mayor mentioned, really get into the trenches and the details, line by line. And, the municipal budget is pretty complicated, particularly when you have a beach utility, you have a sewer utility, you have a general fund, right, or current fund, then you got parts of a current fund. The presentation he gave made it look pretty easy. But I can tell you that there was a lot of labor and effort put into it. And, while he might not have been the traditional person to hire in his position, I think without a doubt, he's proven himself overwhelmingly in these last 30 days, really, of tackling this behemoth of a budget. I shared with the mayor, when I was mayor in Belmar, we never had these issues, nothing close to it. Everything was much better accounted for, whether it's in Edmonds or actually in the bank accounts, than it had been in Bradley Beach. So hopefully moving forward, it'll be smooth sailing. And then also, we did mention the three folks before, JR and Biagio and Michelle. And I can tell you from my experience, I've only been in Bradley Beach a little over a year, but I have about 20 years experience in municipal government, state government. And folks like that don't stay around unless they have a strong dedication to the community they serve. So, Biagio did mention that, working here put his kids through college, but it's that type of effort that you see every day in a small town like Bradley Beach, that the residents, and I know I'm lucky to work with them. Erica feels the same, being lucky to work with them on a daily basis. So all three of them really are tremendous. And to wrap up, Mayor, I know this is also important to you. The Mets game was postponed today in Colorado because of snow. So the biggest cold here.
And
Could be stuff.
it's served the purpose of putting Mets fans out of their misery for one.
They can't lose today.
They cannot lose.
Two questions.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Oh,
I have two questions for you. with regard to the next sewer projects, the Ocean Avenue, Ocean Park and Fifth Avenue Phase 2. Even though we are going to be awarding in June, are we, just to confirm, we're waiting to start the work for just after the summer?
Councilman Oki, what are your thoughts?
Yes, September after the summer season, because those two sewer projects are from Ocean Avenue to Madison on Ocean Park as well as on Fifth. And it's just gonna be too disruptive to the timing on Ocean Avenue and County Road. So we'll be doing those in September.
Okay, and then a less important question is the former pump station. At some point when we ribbon cut out there, are we gonna give it a name? Instead of
yeah,
pump
that's-
station?
I don't know if I told you this yet, but it's the, did you tell her, Mr. Mayor, it's the Shawna? What? pump station? Tell you that, you guys do have an opportunity to name it. I mean, it's
a name.
Naming rights.
It needs a
It's
name.
kinda, that's not a bad idea. I'd say name it.
Yeah,
But
50, was it 51 Ocean Avenue? or
Well, we
54?
call it 54 Ocean Avenue, even though that's not its address.
Right.
I don't know where that came from.
Call it though.
But no, we should absolutely do a ribbon cutting.
And
but
naming it.
You make a great point. We could name it something.
Yeah.
I'm sure about
The AT&T Pavilion.
We need a sponsor, yeah.
it.
Thank you.
does that conclude? your-
Yes, sir. That's all. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Doherty. All right, we will move now to mayor and council reports, and we'll start with Councilman Clark.
Okay. The Environmental Commission, everybody was in Aruba or otherwise, they did not have a meeting, so they didn't have quorums. I also met with the community development people for construction and code enforcement. That's where we collaborated a lot on the bamboo and dumpster ordinances. For the fire department, for last month, the department responded to 4-day calls and 2 night calls for a total of 6. 5 alarm activations and 1 exploded power transformer. The department conducted 1 department-wide training and there were no requests for mutual aid. They, of course, are still looking for volunteers for the fire department, offer free training, and anybody wishing to volunteer for the fire department may inquire through the borough's website. For the first aid, the operational period ending May 6th, the squad responded to 14-day calls and 6 night calls for a total of 20. 16 are medical, 3 for fire, 1 motor vehicle crash. There was no out-of-town mutual aids requested, and they didn't request any mutual aid. They did have 1 drill for safety and education of the members on splinting and collaring patients. There were a total of 120 volunteer hours, and they are still looking for volunteers for first aid, offering free training. Anyone wishing to volunteer for the first aid squad, applications could be found on the borough's website. And also don't forget about their cadet program for young people 16 through 18 years old who are interested in serving our community.
Thank you, Councilman. We'll turn to Council President DeNovo.
Perfect. I'm gonna start with tourism. There was no meeting, but Amy Baker would like me to share to mark your calendar, June 10th, the coastal kickoff on Newark Avenue between 4 and 7 p.m. There's gonna be food, face painting, DJ, family-friendly games for kids. There will be an expo match for semi-pro soccer players and FC Monmouth, and they'll have also games for and prizes for the kids. And we're holding a new and gently used sports equipment drive at the event for benefit local organizations. Again, that's June 10th, 4 to 7. And then on June 25th, we're going to celebrate Global Beatles Day with a concert in the park to kick off the summer season. So June 25th from 6 to 8. Get ready to sing along to all your favorite Beatles hits. Next, we have Shade Tree. They have a meeting tomorrow, but today kicked off the planting. 66 trees are going into our borough. We're going to be just flush with trees. This Friday, Arbor Day, the mayor will be at the school and we will be doing a presentation to celebrate the day with the elementary school students. And I'd also like to thank Councilman Nowicki for including the Shade Tree Commission in the Sylvan Lake planting and the Main Street planting, they are, the commission is striving for biodiversity. In the past, we had a monoculture of ash and pear. Ash fell to the emerald ash borer, and we had 200 trees die. And then the pear trees only last 20 to 25 years, and now they're banned because they're invasive. Yes, they're on that list as well. So hopefully we'll get a lot of, the 10, 20, 30, where we don't have too much of one species, genus, or family. And we can start that nice biodiversity of trees. So that's all good news. Oh, and speaking of good news, I couldn't wait to tell everybody, so I put it on Facebook. But I'm incredibly proud to share some wonderful news regarding our borough school district. Bradley Beach Elementary School has been officially designated as high performing by the New Jersey Department of Education. This designation is the result of a rigorous review under the state's accountability system, which evaluates schools across 5 key areas. To earn this title, a district must score 80% or higher in every single category. While our district has been working toward this for a long time, a recent review confirmed that our scores have risen to 83%, meeting and exceeding that final benchmark. As board president Elizabeth Franks, or Dr. Franks as we know her, noted, achieving this status has been a primary focus for the board and the administration for the last 10 years. This is a massive milestone for our community. And I want to congratulate the superintendent and principal, Dr. Michael Heidelberg, the Board of Education, and especially to the dedicated staff and students whose hard work made this possible. This achievement confirms the great things that are happening at Bradley Beach Elementary School, and it sets a positive direction for the future of our borough's children. And tonight is the Board of Ed meeting, and they are going to finalize their budget. And I want to also share a couple of things. I'd like to thank the Southern Monmouth elected women. We had our quarterly meeting, and it was elected women from Avon, Belmar, Spring Lake Heights, Neptune City, Wall, Seagirt. We have council presidents now. We think we have 2, 3 mayors in our group there, and we share ideas and services. We talked about that as well. And in addition, I attended the New Jersey Film Expo at the Meadowlands last week, and we are going to have a meeting with them and talk about the ins and outs of being film ready. So stay tuned. I'll keep you informed. And that completes my report.
Thank you, Council President. I'll turn to Councilwoman Greenblatt.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd also like to add, just having met with Amy Baker and Paul Nishamkin, that July 1st, which is a Wednesday in the afternoon, the borough will be celebrating the country's 250th. And it'll be a really fun celebration with more details to come. So for my council reports, recreation, the rec center held its grand reopening this past Saturday with a ribbon cutting, pickleball, face painting, and treats sold by the PTA. The courts were busy with pickleball players and children enjoying the new playground. Many thanks to Courtney Pappas, the borough, and our engineers. Recreation is hosting Mother's Day flag football this Friday, May 8th, 5:30 at the rec field. Registration is $20 to $25 per person, which includes food options and a t-shirt. Come join the fun and celebrate Mom. The Senior Club's next meeting is May 27th, noon to 3 at the Biazzi Center. Mahjong Open Play runs every Friday, 1 to 3, also at the Biazzi Center. Spring Bocce League signups opened yesterday and probably filled within the first 2 hours, I think. The program runs June through July, 6:30 p.m. with Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday sessions. Go to the Recreation Department's page of the borough website to register. Summer Camp 2026 runs June 29th to August 14th, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Registration is closed and camp is full, but if you're interested, be sure to put your name on the wait list, which will be determined on a first come, first served basis. Enrollment will be updated mid-May to early June. There are still a few spots open for Marine Science Camp, which runs July 27th to the 31st, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. for ages 5 to 12 at Memorial Park in Neptune City. The Recreation Committee's next meeting is Monday, May 11th, 6:30 PM at the Rec Center. And my Arts Council report, the Arts Council met yesterday, May 4th. Fun was had this past Sunday at the Acoustic Coffee House Singer-Songwriters Showcase at the Perfect Perk. There was a steady stream of people, about 60 all told, who came to enjoy an afternoon of local music. Thanks again to the Perk for graciously hosting the event and Arts Council member Carol Lester. The first annual Arts Fest is Saturday, July 27th at Riley Park, beginning at 12:30 and running through 9 PM. It's an afternoon of live music, interactive arts and dance programming, ballet performance, a gallery opening at Posh Real Estate, and an evening of singer-songwriters at Uva's. A call to all local Bradley Beach artists to participate in the visual art exhibit. Home is where the art is at Posh. The exhibit runs from June 27th to July 4th with an artist opening reception on the 27th. The Arts Council is accepting submissions through May 31st, and you can see their website for details and submission requirements, or you can reach out to Mia Mutasio, who is leading up the Arts Council. Thank you, Mia. Anyone interested in helping on the day of the Arts Fest, please reach out by email to artscouncil@bradleybeachnj.gov. No experience required, just enthusiasm for the arts in Bradley. Their planning meeting for the Arts Fest is scheduled for next Monday, May 11th. The Fletcher Lake Commission has not met since our last council meeting. They will next meet on Thursday, May 14th in this council chamber. And I prepared a little bit of my perspective since we were asked what our point of view was regarding gas leaf blowers. I know that the resident who asked, I don't believe is on Zoom, but for the record, I would just like to share my perspective. While I'm generally in favor of seeing the removal of gas leaf blower use, primarily because of greenhouse gas emissions and their impact on our environment and health, I have the following concerns regarding passage of this restriction at this time. One is timing. Putting this restriction in place while we are in the landscaping season places real undue hardship on landscapers, their contracts with customers, and their ability to be able to invest financially in new equipment or change their model and rake or sweep. A change in protocol may increase manpower numbers and add time to each job. This pivot would be better implemented with time and planning before the landscaping season. Putting our money where our mouth is. If we legislate no gas leaf blowers for residents, we need to do the same in our public works protocol. This represents an outlay of capital in switching out equipment and or changing practices, which may require greater manpower and time. And finally, state legislation. There's a bill in the Senate and Assembly, Senate Bill 623 and Assembly 4666, which are currently considering a phased approach to ban two-stroke gas leaf blowers with a 2-year phase out of sales and a 4-year phase out of use. This bill would also fund incentives for businesses to transition equipment up to potentially 50% of the cost. Why not support this bill and hopefully implement across the state of New Jersey with planning and support? My initial approach to this legislation for Bradley Beach was to have a workshop and meaningful discussion among constituents and neighboring towns who have implemented these bans, their challenges in enforcement, their success and best practices, as well as with landscapers, groups that support environmental and health initiatives, and my fellow residents. And that's what my perspective is at this point with regard to the gas leaf blowers. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Now we'll turn to Councilman Nowicki.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Police activity for the period of April 19th to May 3rd. My time is up. April 21st, 2026, Main Street and Main Avenue, 51-year-old man from Neptune, New Jersey, was arrested and charged with disorderly conduct and several motor vehicle violations after he became uncooperative and began yelling profanities during the motor vehicle stop. He also had an outstanding warrant from Asbury Park. Patrolman Daniel Crow, Patrolman Anthony Badalamenti made the arrest. On April 23rd, 701 Main Street, a 31-year-old man from Bradley Beach was arrested on 2 outstanding warrants. He was later released after posting full bail for both warrants. Detective Gregory Pancha made the arrest. On May 3rd, 700 block of Main Street, a 38-year-old man from Ocean Township was arrested and charged with driving under the influence and several other motor vehicle offenses. Patrolman Daniel Crow and Patrolman Abedamente made the arrest. In addition, the police department investigated several motor vehicle crashes and answered several calls for service. Regarding Sylvan Lake, our BA had addressed the bulkhead going out to advertisement. We also just found out today that our permit, the dam safety permit for the outlet gate, finally was approved by DEP. We had submitted that about 5 months ago, and DEP's now approved that permit so that the DEP with the outfall project that was being done on the beach, they're going to change order the contractor. It looks like the contractor was done. He's not done. He just went dormant because of the environmental restrictions on that contract. And so he's going to now potentially be mobilized very soon to do the gate work. We're going to end up, DEP will be negotiating that with advice from Borough of Avon as well as Bradley Beach on how and when are we going to do that work. So that's going to happen, and we've been talking about this for about 6 months. So this is again a critical infrastructure project that controls the water leaving the lake. So that's really important. In addition, in Sylvan Lake, we have what's called the TAC, Technical Advisory Committee, that's made up of Monmouth University, the Littoral Society, engineers, environmentalists, and both boroughs. And they are advancing, looking at how are we going to submit for permits for the dredging of the lake ultimately, and we're looking for how to get funding for that dredging for the ultimate solution of the lake. Meanwhile, we're taking care of all the infrastructure elements, but the actual dredging, removal, and building of living shoreline and beneficial reuse of that sediment from the bottom of the lake, either disposing of it or using it those plans will be getting developed and being shared with the community and sometime in the next several months. So again, we're continuing to advance and make progress on the lake. So that's my report.
Thank you, Councilman. Just on that note, I mentioned this, I think last time you gave us an update on Sylvan Lake, but I'm going to say it again and probably a few more times over the next few meetings. What we, Bradley Beach, are in the early stages of accomplishing is truly historical in what we are doing to Sylvan Lake, because Sylvan Lake is set for over 20 years with every council person, every local politician lobbying for ways to dredge that lake, because if you don't dredge that lake, it will die. It in many spaces, it's 1 foot in depth. We joke that, it's a religious experience to see ducks walking on top of water, but in fact, they're walking on sediment. And Paul, when you mentioned the TAC committee, that's 15 or 20 people that meet every couple of weeks, once or twice a month with engineers and environmentalists and lawyers and council people, the mayors of Avon and Bradley. This lake has never had this level of attention that I'm aware of, and I just can't imagine it has. We've already secured, working together with some of it on our own, some of it the prior administration, Mr. Larry Fox, some of it current, some of it through Avon. We've already secured grant funding that's very sizable in nature to repair the bulkhead on our side of the lake, to extend the promenade. And that promenade, again, a very critical protection for the borough of Bradley Beach at the south end of town, because right now that is the low point in town, and we are susceptible to ocean surges there. Back when Sandy hit, flooded the lake, it flooded all the properties around the lake. These are truly historical undertakings, and I'm very excited about the fact that we've got all these experts and evolving sources of funding to get all this stuff done. The challenge will be, and I'm going to say this a few more times, we are very likely to have disruption during our summer, especially at the south end of town, southeast corner of town. And if there was any way around it, this council is super sensitive to those concerns. Nobody wants to have any construction taking place in the summer, but a lot of our funding expires at the end of this calendar year. There's stuff we need to do. We would have started it 5 months ago, but we needed all sorts of DEP approvals and so forth. The good news is we seem to be moving forward. The bad news is some of that work is going to take place during the summer. As soon as we know when, we will communicate it to the public. There is no cover up. There is no desire to keep anything from the public. We truly don't know in certain instances if we're even going to receive approvals. And if we should receive approvals, we're not sure when. We aren't looking at going out to bid. Because we are trying to keep the ball moving, but as soon as we know information, we will share that with the public. Flyers, open communications, newsletters, website postings. We're talking about setting up a separate area of our website that folks can go to for regular updates. We are very much aware that there will be disruption during the beach season. We want to minimize that to the extent possible, but that is a significant issue for all of us and of course our residents. I am amazed that Ashley Fogley, our librarian, who I am the liaison to the library. And for every council meeting, she gives me a list of 1,000,000 things that the library is doing. And every council meeting, I read 5 or 6 of them because I want to give folks a sense. But please, if you're looking for activities for yourself, for children, for grandchildren, for aunts and uncles, check out our library website because it's amazing the amount of things they do. I'm going to read a few of them. One is we have a photography contest that the theme of it is history. Children 0 to 12 can, 0 might be a little young, but children up to 12 years old can enter it. And it's limited to 1 entry per person, but photography about history, submissions can go through now through July. And there are weekly programs, Mondays, Legos and games, Thursdays, drop-in crafts for kids, pick up crafts for kids and adults throughout the month. I'm skipping, there's a lot here.
One beach one.
I'm getting to One Beach One Read. That's the important one that I've got. On May 12th at 6 p.m., One Beach, One Read. Have You Seen Louise Velez is the book by Catherine Ryan Hyde. That will be at the Bradley Beach Firehouse. Again, May 12th at 6 p.m. There is another One Beach, One Read at the Bradley Beach Elementary School, May 14th at 1:40 p.m. Again, if you have children who want to read a children's book, try to make it to the Bradley Beach Elementary School. There's a Social Security and Retirement Income Planning Workshop for folks contemplating retirement, giving ways to optimize your Social Security and reduce taxes and hedge for inflation. And there's so much more. Children reading to dogs, children helping to practice their reading, but of course, making it fun because they're interacting with dogs. And there's a yarn club and there's mahjong and so much more. So go to that Bradley Beach Public Library website. There's also tons of online resources, ebooks, e-magazines, streaming video and so forth. So lots going on at our library. I did not do it justice, but go to the website if you're at all interested. I also came prepared to give my thoughts as Councilwoman Greenblatt mentioned. We agreed that, if the feeling struck us, we didn't vote last week, if you recall, or last meeting. If you recall, there was an ordinance that Councilman Carp decided to withdraw because he did not have the support from council. It was related to the gas leaf blowers. I committed that I would read my thoughts, so here are my thoughts. And regarding my thoughts regarding the possible ban on gas leaf blowers from for the period mid-May through September, it was roughly 4.5 months. First, I want to thank Councilman Carp, who worked hard to develop legislation that he hoped would serve all. I learned a lot from his efforts, and still, at our last council meeting, I was prepared to vote no on the proposed seasonal ban on gas leaf blowers. The goal, reducing noise and improving summer quiet, is valid. Electric blowers are more quiet. Other concerns were raised regarding emissions from gas leaf blowers. While not related to noise, I did consider these concerns. However, my role is to weigh those benefits against the potential cons that we would create. First, our draft proposal was limited. It applied only to gas leaf blowers for roughly 4 months during the summer, while other two-stage engine equipment would continue year-round and gas blowers return in the fall. Second, landscapers and small business owners made clear this would hurt their livelihoods. Electric equipment can take significantly more time and requires more costly batteries and charging. Productivity losses for landscapers would be significant. Third, these restrictions could raise costs for residents and/or reduce available services to residents. My research indicates that roughly 5 municipalities have bans on gas leaf blowers in New Jersey, and that roughly another 15 have seasonal restrictions on gas leaf blowers. This is roughly 20 municipalities out of 564 total municipalities in New Jersey. This said, the state of New Jersey is still considering broader, more comprehensive solutions, possibly with a 3 to 5 year phase-out period and financial support for affected businesses. I think it will be more prudent and more effective to attempt to resolve environmental concerns with two-stroke engines at the state level rather than attempt local, partial, meaning limited, measures to restrict the use of gas leaf blowers. In my opinion, as a potential amendment to our noise ordinance, the pros of limited quiet time in the summer months did not outweigh the cons of economic challenges we might impose on businesses and the public. For these reasons, I did not believe the benefits outweigh the drawbacks, and I shared my concerns in advance with Councilman Carr. That just concludes my statements. For better or for worse, that was the rationale that I shared with Councilman Carr. So otherwise, that concludes my comments, and now we can open it up to the public. Any comments or questions, please limit your comments or questions to 5 minutes. And you can speak to any items, whether they are on the agenda or not. Mr. Bartolo.
Rick Bartolome, 116 Newark. Really, just since you mentioned the library, just wondering the status of the front doors of the library. Has anybody heard anything or what they're doing with that? I think, a year ago, maybe even longer, they mentioned something like the cost for new ones was like over $30,000. I don't know if that number is right in my memory, but has anybody know any update of what they're doing?
I don't have a current update. I know as of a number of months ago, I have moved off of, I'm still officially a member of the board, but I have a delegee, so I haven't got to the last few months of meetings. However, the number was closer to 100,000, and there were a lot of issues. They hired an architect that was going to help them with design. Do you have more?
Yeah, so one of the things we do every Monday is we have a summer staff meeting. So Ashley, who runs the library, and she updates us on the stuff. And more recently, they've been concerned with the roof and some leaking. So as the mayor mentioned, they do have an architect that also has to, they've engaged with a historian regarding the building itself. So there's nothing new to report on the doors. The doors are amazing, but they are about 100+ years old. So we're gonna make sure we take our time to preserve them and do it the right way. But to the mayor's point, this is a costly endeavor, but certainly worth it to preserve that history.
They are operational though. You can go in through the front doors.
Can you? Oh, I didn't realize that, because I know for a long time you weren't allowed to.
Right, now you can.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Other comments or questions? Yes, Nancy?
Nancy Meadow, Ocean Park Condominiums. I want to underscore how appreciative I am with the money you found and added and or increased. I'm delighted that we're charging more for parking on Ocean Avenue, because you should have charged more for beach passes. I do wonder, because I asked, not you, because it was 2 BAs, and I think I only dealt with one financial person who put in the budget that the fees from the parking go to the current fund. Which I never quite understood because, you know, Ocean's supposed to go to the ocean utility.
They're
Okay,
all in the beach fund now. We moved them there.
thank you. That was not shared with me. Perhaps everyone else. So that's a good thing. So I'm thrilled. And always increasing revenue is great. And I think you're very, even though I disagree with a lot. And I'll underscore that word. I do think you do your best to be good stewards of our money. So that being said, and I've complained about this to two people. And they're tired of me, and I grant that, but they're not as exhausted as I am. We spent money on a new sign for Main Street for the rec center. Purpose of that sign, in my opinion, is to inform people on the street of upcoming events at the rec center. I'm pleased to say that it was changed somewhere between Monday morning and this meeting from an expired event. It's my understanding from this meeting as well as previously that summer camp is sold out. I don't find it a good bang for my buck that we are not advertising a Mother's Day event that's this weekend, but we're advertising summer camp. I can't wrap my head around it, and this happens after every event. There's some lack of specifics or thoroughness that happens there. And that's in other areas of the town and other departments or whatever. So while you map out our future and continue to do a great job with things that help my life, I hope you can address the little teeny things that really should not take much of an effort. And that being said, I know that this is being impatient. Is there any update for railing at the tennis courts, or are we not there yet?
It is in the cement already.
Oh, really? Why didn't you make me go look?
I figured you would send me a picture of it.
No, you should send me a picture.
Mr. Capone jumped on it when we asked him, could we get a railing there? He said it should be there already.
That's excellent. Thank you.
Like you say, it's the little things, right?
It is the little things. Because I'm just one person and not much time ahead. And it is the little things that make my life better, and you do handle the big things well. And I do acknowledge that. Thank you.
Well, we are trying. Thank you.
I acknowledge that too.
Other comments? Yes, Mia.
Hello. Mia Matasio, 401 McCabe Ave. I just have some food for thought on the topic of the gas powered leaf blowers. Kind of important to me, so I just wanted to read a few paragraphs that I put together. And I'm shivering, it's cold back there. Okay. So I'm here to make some comments and suggestions as a result of the gas leaf blower resolution being withdrawn. I was excited to see this topic being addressed on the agenda a few weeks ago, as it's a topic that has concerned me, excuse me, for a number of years. After reading about how harmful the exhaust and high decibel levels are to the environment, animals, and people. I'm sure most of you are aware of this. I'm assuming the main reason for withdrawing from exploring the topic further is the financial burden the landscapers would have to take on by having to replace their equipment. I was disappointed that the opportunity to start conversations regarding the gas blowers was put on hold, but I would like to offer a suggestion. Perhaps the Environmental Commission or a focus group can put together an informative report that can educate any interested residents and landscapers addressing the use of the gas leaf blowers and their overall impact in our community. Perhaps some small compromises can be made. For example, maybe a homeowner and their landscaper can discuss the degree of blower removal of grasses and leaves that needs to be removed from their yard. Maybe a full-time homeowner is willing to provide a battery-powered blower to their landscaper. Maybe there can be a collective solutions to improve the degree of lawn debris removal. I believe there are residents in our community where the noise and duration of the blowers causes them a degree of irritation, even when they are inside, and that they would welcome these types of conversations. There are residents that haven't thought about it, but would be open to learning more. There are residents that are content with the way their property looks and don't want to rock the boat. I don't want to harm our landscaper or their business. I don't know if they all know and or accept the possible long-term health effects that gas leak blowers may have on them. I just want to suggest that we don't drop this topic entirely. And even without a resolution, we can educate, inform, and engage our residents, landscapers, and their customers so that even small changes to their workflow may reduce the amount of noise we have to endure. Lastly, of course, it'd be great to see the resolution on the agenda again someday. It's going to most likely be a long wait for the state of New Jersey to get around to passing a statewide ban. And thank you for listening. I just wanted to share my thoughts. Thank you.
Yeah, I will tell you that at the environmental commission meeting, that didn't happen because they didn't have a quorum. That was topic number one. My goodness.
All right, I got distracted.
Sorry.
It's either my right side or my left side, but there's always someone.
Not me.
I know, it was
Keep
some
it
questions.
Any other comments or questions? Yes, sir, Mr. West.
I apologize. This is not intent to rain on anybody's parade. This is gonna be a question / statement regarding the block party 400 Monmouth. Is scheduled from 5 to 9. I thought in previous talk, block parties were to end half an hour before sunset, which on that date is about 8:30. So other residents were told that their parties had to end, so that would put that party at 8 o'clock. So just this question, this one's called till 9. Like I said, I don't necessarily want to ruin anybody's party, just
No,
in the previous statements that has come up.
no, I think whatever our ordinances say, none of, at least I don't think any of us voted on this knowing it was intentionally going beyond what our ordinance says. So I'm just curious, Terry, do you know?
I don't know that one offhand, but we'd have to look up, but I can certainly look up.
Previously was.
I mean, it's a very good question.
Sunset.
Yeah,
Other people were denied their block party for that reason. So just a statement, question, comment, so.
okay, Mr. Doherty, can we just make a note to follow up on that?
Tomorrow.
We'll just follow up, but we'll make sure that I don't think there's any thought of not complying with the ordinance.
Certainly not. And it, you know, I think once it starts getting dark, it starts to shut down. So pretty sure, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
By the way, you're not invited.
I know.
That's great.
Thank you, sir. Any other comments or questions in the audience? No, any comments or questions on Zoom? And I'm looking there and they're looking at me this way. All right, I see no other comments or questions, so next item is executive session. Mr. Cannon, Mr. Cannon, how long do you think the executive session should last?
10 minutes.
10 minutes, according to Mr. Doherty, which I agree with.
All right, so I'll make a motion that we move to executive session and let the public know we expect to return in 10 minutes or so.
Second.
Mr. Noble? Yes. Ms. Greenblatt?
Provide.
Yes. Mr. Carp?
Yes.
Mr. Nowicki?
Yes.
Mayor Gubatosi?
Yes.
That was my handwriting. Sorry. It is freezing in here. They lower it for us. I'll fix it. They lower it for us? Yeah. Well, we're not getting that air. When I walked in, it was 75 degrees here and it's hot, when they lower it. Yeah.